6 guys, 3 sports, no leash. This is the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. Football, hockey, and baseball, the way it's meant to be. Loud, raw, and completely unfiltered.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 6 of Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. I'm Gary Ray with Ian Schenk and Brian Hawley. Look at this gorgeous group of guys down at the Boathouse Stratford. We had an amazing drive. It was called Fill the Shelves. And the reason why we wanted to do it is we all drive by St. Paul's Church there on Durrow Street, and we see the people sitting out front that need a hand up. And so I went down there last summer and talked to Alex and Madison, amazing girls. They work for here in Perth, Mental Health Association. And they gave me a list of things that they needed to help them fill the shelves, especially with the cold weather around the corner. And so I took that list and we put out a flyer that a lot of you, over 1,000 people alone on Instagram saw it. And we just can't thank A, our sponsors enough, and B, the public enough. Like, look at that table full of things. And I have to give out a huge, huge thank you to the following people. Our sponsors that were unbelievable. Railside Organics, Kirk and Tammy Marquette. I walked in there and Curly said, Razor, how much money do you need? Just started firing off C notes. Thank you, Curly and Tammy. Best Western, Arden Park Hotel. Greg and Andrea Hayter, another amazing couple. What do you need? Hey, we need some toiletries. So they had their staff put together shampoo, conditioner, soap that the people can use. Thank you to them. The Boathouse Stratford, Kellen and Melissa Herr, their brother and sister, they're not married. They helped us organize and promote this and put it on their socials. You can see Kellen there, good looking guy, former Stratford Culleton, former London Knight. Just a great guy. Halifax Moosehead, I think it was. He played out in the queue. But we're going to have him on the show sometime. He's got a great story about his hockey career as well. But I can't forget Chris Finch, general manager out at Canadian Tire. I went out there and I said to him, hey, Chris, this is what we're doing through the podcast. Can you help us at all? And he said, Gary, I'll give you sleeping bags, mitts, toques, all at cost. And so thank you to all of them for your help. And so I took all of this stuff. This is Monday night. I took it this morning, Monday morning, over to St. Paul's Church. They couldn't thank me enough. Like they were just so appreciative that we took a few minutes out of our lives to help people that need a hand up, like I said. So thank you again to everyone that has helped. Railside, Best Western, Arden Park, Boathouse, Canadian Tire, and you people, you guys know who you are. We had people that were willing to open up their wallets as we told them the story as they walked by to use the washrooms, and they saw all the merchandise and product out here for on display. But thanks again, and let's get started with the show. I'll just remove that. But how are you guys?
Good, really good. Despite this wintry weather, but
yes, it is a little blustery. But I guess it is still fall, but for another month or so. But in reality, it can snow anytime after Halloween, and the white stuff is here. But just another great weekend of sports. So many things to talk about. We had talked on our group chat what we should talk about with trending, and I like our topics today, especially with me being a Leaf fan. It's embarrassing, but the Leafs dumpster fire that happened this weekend back-to-back losses. They lose Saturday night at home 5-3 to Boston. Just goaltending was awful. Stolarz was pulled after 19 shots, let in 4 goals, and it's just, I don't know what the problem is. Like, and then they lose last night 5-4 at home to Carolina. They had a 4-2 lead. They got outshot 22-2 in the third, and Hildeby played. He had 47 shots. He stopped 42 of 47, but that's still a sub 900 save percentage. Not good enough when you're in the show, my friend. But what do you guys think? What is going on in Leafland, Shanker?
Well, I'm just going to back this up to last Monday at the end of our show when I got a little excited and said, oh, Pittsburgh's up 3-0 on the Leafs. And Leafs only had 8 shots. Well, within 10 minutes of us closing, we have a tie game and the Leafs come back and win. So I just want to apologize to all the Pittsburgh Penguins fans who sent me nice messages after the game.
He jinxed you.
Yeah, thanking me for the jinx, and sorry, folks. But the Leafs are like Jekyll and Hyde, like the Bills. They look good one night, and the next night they totally stink. Like, I don't know if it's their goaltending or their defense.
I think that's part of it. I know that's part of it, but
or is it just, hey, we're still in October or in November, back-to-back games. Do we have to put a full 60 minutes on ice? But you think with Craig Berube behind the bench, he'd be having those guys firing on all cylinders every night. Like, they're scoring, right? They just can't defend.
And you hit the nail on the head there. It's their D. Their D can't make that first pass out of their end zone, and they're not protecting leads. Like, what do you see in Halser?
Well, at the end of the day, you've got a team who's scored the most goals in the Eastern Conference. And who wants to guess who the team is that has given up the most goals in the Eastern Conference? You scored the most. They've got 59-4 as of tonight. It's 59-4 and 60 against. So you're leading the league. You're leading the conference, in goals for. And your plus minus, your differential is still -1. I don't really need to look too far. I don't watch a lot of Leafs hockey, but what I do see routinely is Toronto giving up scoring opportunities. There's a lot of them. So can the goalie save a few of those? Yeah, maybe. But at the end of the day, there's just far too many scoring opportunities for their opposition. Like, I mean, you look at Sunday night, there's no shame in losing to Carolina, but they gave up 5. They gave up 4 to Boston in the first 2 periods. They're just too easy to score on. And that's really what surprises me with a team coached by Craig Berube. You'd think they'd be they'd have a little more pride in how many goals they give up and how many shifts they lose on a minus with a guy like that at the helm. And I would assume that at some point in time, that's got to turn around. The good news for Toronto, I think, is that they're scoring lots of goals. You can't teach a guy to score that can't score, but you can teach a guy to keep him out of your own net while he's doing it. So if they can shore it up, I still think they're a better team. They will show out as a better team when they get going without Marner. I just think they're going to have more sandpaper when they get to the playoffs. So you don't want to get too excited about 16 or 17 games.
Like, it's frustrating, like I said, with me being a Leaf fan, where you hit the nail on the head. They're not having any trouble scoring, but they've given up the most. Ottawa's next at 58. Toronto's given up 60. Ottawa's given up 58. But it just seems like a disconnect. Like, nobody, like, you look at Florida, and they're missing their 2 best players, Barkov and Tkachuk. Could you imagine if Toronto was missing Matthews and Nylander, where the Leafs would be? Like, now I get it that, like, Nylander and Tavares are carrying them right now. Like, you've got Matthews. He's been hot and cold, I'm not sold that he's the captain material. I just don't. I think he's better riding shotgun than driving the bus. But I really worry. Like, they're 10th in the Eastern right now. They're out of a playoff spot. I know it's only November, but they need to right the ship before they get too far out of control, because their D is an absolute mess right now, and everyone would love to have a stud defenseman fall into their lap, but it's going to be interesting over these next few weeks as we get into the Christmas season, just exactly where the Leafs are going to go. Like, what do you guys think they should do? Like, do you think that they should just try and work it out amongst themselves, Shanker, or do you think that they should be active in the trade market, maybe trade an asset? Like, call me crazy, but maybe trade Matthews and try and get something in return. Like, I know that sounds like absolutely crazy, but they've got to shore up their D, and I don't know if they have that in their system right now.
Defense has always been their main issue the last few years, and I think it's a little early to be pushing the panic button right now. They're only 5 points out of the lead behind Montreal, and they have two full lines scoring. Like, Nylander, Tavares, Nyes, and Matthews are your top four. But after that, if you don't have those lines scoring, you have issues. And they sent Cowan down, didn't they, again?
Yeah, he's back on.
I
Because he
don't
doesn't have
understand.
to clear waivers, right? So they can send him down.
But he had 4 points in 11 games. Why not keep him up? He's a young kid. He's going to bring energy to that third line. I don't know. I wouldn't make a trade yet. I think they're fine. They've always had a defensive problem. I think just ride it out for another till around Christmas and see how they are.
Chess is texting. Still can't beat the Bruins. You're right, Chess. They can't. What do you think, Halser? What would you do if you were Brad Treliving?
Oh, you have to stand pat for a little while. I mean, like I said, I gave you the glasses half full version. The glasses half empty version is if they don't shore it up and the goals dry up, then they got a big problem. But I think the other reason I'm not panicking is because we're sitting in a somewhat historic, could be a bit hyperbole, but Buffalo lost last night being Sunday night. Before that, every single team in the East has a 500 record. Every single team has a 500 record now, except Buffalo, just because they lost last night. And I read an article about that in Yahoo last week, and it just blew me away. Where Florida Panthers were in last place in the conference at 7-7-2. So that's the other reason you don't panic, is that you look up and you see the lead 5 points ahead of you, and then you look down and you see the basement 5 points ahead of you. You just got to get better every day, and that's why it's an 80-game schedule. They'll just keep working on it. If I'm a Leaf fan, I know, and we're thankful every day we aren't.
I guess it could be worse. It could be Edmonton getting pumped with 9 spot there with Colorado the other night. And then I don't know if you guys saw it, but you had McDavid and Bouchard exchanging words. It was more McDavid, his body language. He went up to Bouchard yesterday at practice, and I don't know what he was saying to him, but he was basically telling him to, let's fucking go, right? And to Bouchard's credit, he didn't snap back at McDavid. They had a very heartfelt talk, and good on McDavid. He addressed it. He said, "Hey, look, we got to find ways to win, and we got to do a better job of communicating." And it was good. There was no scandal, but it was just interesting that it was caught on video of, like, McDavid basically rolled his eyes after Bouchard did a play in practice. And then Bouchard could tell that he was pissed off with him. And so then that's when McDavid went over to him and just kind of let him have it, right? Like, telling him, let's go. But
that can go both ways. Hopefully it goes the right way for the Oilers and they start connecting again. But then the Oilers are famous for starting off really slow and then gaining
Yeah.
pressure.
I don't think anybody's worried about the Oilers.
Could you imagine, like, if at the midway point, the Oilers are like not looking like they're going to make the playoffs, and McDavid's just signed that 2-year extension? Like, that would be interesting. That would really be something. Like, they still don't have what I think anybody would call a number one goalie. Skinner can get hot, but he's a 50-50. He's by no means a number one that's going to win you a cup on his own, the way Bobrovsky and all these other studs have been a lock for all of these teams. But going to be interesting to watch. All right, moving along. Let's talk about the other thing trending in sports right now, specifically baseball and basketball. My goodness, what's going on with gambling, where you've got the two pitchers from the Cleveland Guardians in a lot of trouble? They've both been indicted on charges that they took bribes from sports bettors to throw certain types of pitches to ensure successful bets. And that's Emmanuel Clase, former closer, and Luis Ortiz, a starter with the Guardians. They've both been off on paid leave since the summer. I just don't get it. Like, here's these guys making millions of dollars, and they just get mixed up with the wrong guys, I guess, down in the Dominican, and it's just an absolute mess. And I read today, before we came on air, that Major League Baseball has announced today a cap of $200 being allowed to place on pitching prop bets to mitigate the incentive to engage in misconduct. Like, apparently there was two unnamed gamblers from their native Dominican Republic that won almost $500,000. Well, guys, with all of these technology that you have on the gambling sites, they'll see any irregularities. It's like the SEC. If you start placing bets on certain stocks and stuff that are abnormal, it's going to red flag it. And I don't know why these two pitchers thought that they would risk millions of dollars for a few $1,000. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But Class A, 27, is not in custody at this point, but Ortiz, 26, was arrested by the FBI yesterday in Boston at the Boston airport. Your thoughts, Halser? What do you think about these two characters?
Well, this is really a head scratcher, isn't it? I mean, I know Ortiz was in court today, being Monday. Obviously, we haven't heard anything. It's probably just an arraignment, I would think. So, it's really interesting, and I'm a bit of a gambler. I'm not a hardcore gambler guy, but there's guys on there every pitch, and that's what they've broken it down into now. Prop bets on, I was reading a lot of it. There's, it wasn't just, it was what pitch it was, whether it was a ball or strike, velocity, an over under on a certain velo, and they were going over some of the more egregious examples of what drew their attention. And, they listed off 6 pitches and 5 of them bounced. So,
Crazy.
Class A can throw about a 92, 93 slider, and he threw one about 88 that went about 58 and a half feet, bounced 2 feet in front of the plate. And that particular one, shockingly, somebody hit a big prop on that pitch, both a three parlay that it's going to be a slider, that it's going to be under 91, and it's going to be a ball. So he did a 3-game parlay on that pitch that he told his buddy to throw. And,
Crazy.
It's a shame that, when you think about it, for all the money, I don't know about Ortiz. I think he only makes 750 grand. So, but Class A is about $6.5 million and probably going to get signed for a lot more. He's looking at $50-60 million in salary. Why wouldn't you just give the dude $100,000 if he's your buddy?
Right.
Prop him up a little bit and move on and go make that back. It
Yeah,
just seems so ridiculous. You think you're doing him a solid, man. just send him an e-transfer of however much he would have won. To be that naive, to put yourself in a situation where you could lose your livelihood over your buddy making a couple of grand off a bet, it's shocking to me. But boys will be boys sometimes.
Exactly.
I read a story today about how this all came to life back in May when Cleveland was hosting the Dodgers. Ortiz was on the mound, and he threw a ball in the dirt, and Pages from the Dodgers swung at it, and he missed. So we have a strike. So it's strike one. Or after the game, Ortiz got a bunch of text messages with a bunch of nooses and saying, "You didn't uphold your end of the bargain. I hope this doesn't affect you in your next start." So I don't know if he owes a bunch of people money and they're going after his family. I don't know. I just found it interesting. Like that story comes out, and then a month later, Ortiz gets busted.
Crazy. Yeah, and then we won't talk too deeply because we want to get into end zone and fantasy, but you've also got the NBA scandal. That's more with mafia ties, with the rigged poker games and insider injury reports.
Yeah.
Former NBA player, assistant coach Damon Jones, guy made over $20 million over his 11-year career from 99 to 2009. 30 people were arrested, including used to be current Portland Trailblazers coach, Hall of Famer Chauncey Billups. The guy has made over $130 million over 17 years in the league, plus his coaching and endorsements. Then you had current Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. There's another guy who's made over $130 million. He was supposed to make $26 million this year. The poker games were rigged, I guess. They had shuffling machines, hidden cameras, special markings on cards where some of the players would wear sunglasses and they could see markings so they knew what different guys had in their hand. Like guys like Steph Curry were at these games. Like it was crazy. They had X-ray equipment apparently built right into the table, but they were sharing profits with the three crime families in New York City, the Gambino, Genovese, and Bonanno crime family. So bad look for gambling with the four major leagues. Like, you've got Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, FanDuel's their official sports betting partner. Like it just looks bad, but gambling is here to stay. So anyways, we'll keep monitoring that. I wanted to play our trending commercial, and then I'm going to play End Zone and Fantasy, and then we'll get into that. And then we've got Buzzin' with Clarko coming up, so stay tuned.
This trending segment brought to you by Best Western Plus Arden Park Hotel, located at 552 Ontario Street, Stratford, located steps from the Festival Theatre, while offering first-class accommodations with an extensive range of services, including conference center, banquet facilities, and heated indoor pool. End Zone and Fantasy, brought to you by TNT Security Inc., where security meets reliability. Call Todd Schmidt today for a security quote on your concert, dance, sporting, and alcohol event, business, property, or mobile patrol security.
The big game of the weekend, Schenker, you were texting about that. Indiana came back at Penn State. I love the name of their stadium, Beaver Stadium. I didn't research how they got that name, but Indiana, number 2 ranked in the nation, were on the verge of having their first loss, and they came back with that miracle catch by Omar Cooper Jr., catch from now Heisman favorite quarterback Fernando Mendoza from Indiana. Folks, if you haven't seen that video yet, Google it. It is just an absolute beauty catch. Mendoza rushed them down. They were down 24-20 with 6:27 to play. and then they went back and forth. But then Penn State had to punt it to Indiana with a $1:51 remaining. So Indiana got it on their 20-yard line and had to march all the way down. And a field goal was no good, so they had to go for the score. And just an unbelievable catch. Like, talk about a toe tap. And in college, you only need one foot in, unlike the NFL where you need two. But he got both of them in. Cooper got both of them in. It was just unbelievable. So, what did you think of that, Shanker?
Well, it's a big win because if they wouldn't have won, I had a feeling they were going to drop to like maybe
They were definitely
around the 10th ranked, because they've only beat Oregon and Illinois. Well, Illinois is irrelevant. So that's a huge win for them, especially with their light schedule coming up now. But yeah, this team, they've scored 445 points and they've only given up 121. So it's between them and Ohio State that have only given up less than 150, which is remarkable. And this team, I didn't think to be this good, but man, they just have all the right tools.
Balzer, I don't know if you saw the interview with the girl on the sideline where she was talking to the Indiana coach, and she said, you guys have never won here at Beaver Stadium. And his response was, this team has never played here before, like meaning the team that was going to play the game that day. So it was a great comeback. They were Penn State was 25-2 lifetime against Indiana and 13-0 at home against Indiana. But Penn State's an absolute dumpster fire right now. But going through the college rankings, the top 12, Ohio State, they stay at number 1. The top 5 all stay at number 1. I'll quickly go through them. Ohio State's 1, Indiana's 2, Texas A&M's at 3, Alabama 4, Georgia 5, Ole Miss, they come up one notch. They won at home versus the Citadel 49-0. Oregon, they're at 7. They went down 1, even though they won at Iowa 18-16. Number 8, Texas Tech. They're 9-1. They move up 1 spot. They won at home versus BYU. Number 9, Notre Dame. They're 7-1. They move up 1 spot. They won at home handily, 49-10 over Navy. Number 10, Texas. They end up moving up 3 spots. This is a head scratcher. They didn't play, but they moved up 3 spots. Okay. Number 11, Oklahoma. They don't change. They were off as well Saturday. And number 12, BYU. They were the biggest drop. They fall to 8-1, losing at Texas Tech 29-7. They fall 4 spots. The 2 notables, Miami, they're at 16. They move up 2 spots. They're 7-2. They won at home, 38-10 over Syracuse. And Michigan, another head scratcher. They were off Saturday, but they move up 3 spots to number 18. So there's the college report. We'll quickly talk about, we're not going to talk about the Bills because that's going to come up in Graffers Chew on that segment. But guys, we've been talking about him for the past few weeks. Jonathan Taylor, an absolute beast. Over in Berlin, Germany, the Colts take down the Falcons 31-25 in OT. Jonathan Taylor, 3 more tutties. It was the 5th time this year. He now has 17 TDs for the season. He had 244 yards, puts him on pace for 29 tutties this season. The current record is 31. LaDainian Tomlinson of the 2006 San Diego Chargers holds the record. But Balzer, did you see any of the games on the weekend? Or
Jonathan Taylor can kiss my ass.
You obviously played against him in fantasy, did you?
Yeah. So it's 12:30. My team hasn't even hit the field yet. Nobody in my lineup. My opponent not only has Taylor, but he's got Warren, who I think was 7 and 100. It was about 13 or 14 points, right, as well. So before anybody on my team's gone, he's up 60-0, and he's only burned 2 guys. And so,
welcome to fantasy football.
And then I had to watch Buffalo do what they were doing, and I owned James Cook, so that wasn't at all frustrating. So
Right.
I think that was probably the shortest fantasy football one-on-one match that I have ever experienced. I mean, I was done before my guys literally done before my guys even hit the field. So Jonathan Taylor, nice guy. I'm sure he's got a wonderful family. Kiss my ass, Taylor. You're killing it.
Oh, I love it. The other game that I wanted to quickly talk about, my Rams got their asses handed to them at home at Levi Stadium. The Rams took them down 42-26 in a battle of the NFC West. Matt Stafford, thank God I picked him up on waivers in one of my fantasies. He tossed for 4 TDs, 280 yards. He's now one of the favorites for MVP talk. Doesn't hurt that he's got 2 great wideouts. Devontae Adams, he had 77 yards in a TD, and Puka Nacua had 64 yards in a TT in 1 TD. But the Rams might be the most complete team in the NFL, Shanker. Like, what do you see with these guys?
Well, I haven't seen them much, but when you have a quarterback that has 13 touchdown passes in 3 weeks, something's going right. And you're right. Their wide receiver corps is what Buffalo wants. Quick guys. Yeah. And Nacua and Adams, like Adams is having a comeback here after being stuck in Raider land for the last few years. But
ever since he left Green Bay, he found out the grass wasn't greener. And even when he went back to the Jets to play with Aaron Rodgers, the magic was gone. And it's good to see him rekindle that magic with Matt Stafford, because he's still got it. Like he's on the wrong side of Father Time, but he's still got it, and that takes a lot of heat off Nacua because they got to watch both of them now.
But the last few games I've seen the Rams play, it just seems they can do whatever they want and they're going to score. They march up and down the field like, all right, we got to go 50 yards in 10 seconds. Here's 2 plays. We got our 50 yards. They look really good right now.
They do. They're dangerous. Other than the Indianapolis Colts, folks, keep your eyes on the LA Rams. Next week, the Rams and the Seahawks play. Both are at 7-2. The winner will be leading the NFC West, shaping up to be one of the best and most consequential contests of the year. So that'll be interesting to watch. All right, the top fantasy performers. Halser's happy to hear. Jonathan Taylor, he only had 49.6 points for the Colts yesterday. Devon Achane, I had a chance to pick him up in one of my fantasies, but Glenn Cressman, you really wanted to put me over a barrel, and I think you did really well with Corey Knight getting a first and a second rounder for Achane and Jalen Waddle. Achane had 40.5 points. Number 3, Jahmyr Gibbs. Welcome back. Dan Campbell, when he took over the offensive coordinator duties yesterday, was using him a lot. He had 38.2 points. Davis Mills, quarterback for the Texans. Welcome to the show. He had 28.7 points yesterday. And number 5, Travion Henderson. I've been sitting on this rookie in 2 of my pools. Finally, he broke out, and Ramondre Stevenson's been hurt, so he finally broke out, and Henderson had 28 points yesterday for the Patriots in their win over the Bucs. The top 5 picks to pick up on the waiver wire this week, I've been telling you about Alec Pierce. He had another great week, quietly becoming one of Indiana Jones's favorite wideout targets. He's only rostered on 42% of teams. Number 2, Blake Corum, running back for the Rams. I get it. Kyron Williams is still number 1, but Corum's snaps are greatly increasing, especially as they get to the red zone. So he's only on 11% of teams. Tez Johnson, he's on 32% of teams. Wide out for the Buccaneers. He's still riding number 2 wide receiver to Emeka Egbuka. Number 4, Tyler Algier. He's only on 33% of teams. the Falcons running back, yes, he's the number 2 running back behind Bijan, but he had 2 TDs in the loss to the Colts. He was getting all the touches inside the red zone, not Robinson. Guys on my fantasy football chat were losing their minds that had Robinson, so that was entertaining to see. And last but not least, Tajay Spears, we've had him on as well. He's on 36% of teams in fantasy. He's the Titans running back. He's outproducing Tony Pollard right now, so you should get him while you can still, folks. So that's it for End Zone and Fantasy. We're going to hear from our sponsors with Nick Hishin with Indy Mortgages, and then we're going to bring on Jason Clark, Director of Hockey Operations, and Buzzin' with Clarko.
Buzzin' with Clarko, a weekly roundup of the Stratford Warriors with Jason Clark, brought to you by Nick Hishin of Indy Mortgage, the independent mortgage company serving customers from coast to coast with access to well over 50 lending options available. Give Nick a call as he works for you, not the banks. FISRA license number 12403.
Welcome back, Clarko. Jason Clark, Director of Hockey Ops with the Stratford Warriors. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you guys? Been a couple of weeks.
It has been a couple of weeks. Yeah, you were down to BG and you had work issues where you couldn't make it on last Monday. So glad you got that all figured out. But how was BG with the boys and the team?
It was great. I mean, it's always a great trip. I think I talked about it before we went. It's great to get away with the group too, away from the arena and just be together. And then, of course, how we're treated down there at BG with our connections to the head coach, Dennis Stryker Williams.
Right.
And, yeah, he always does such a great job. And he speaks so well to our group. And, it's just a great setup there too, from where the hotel is and proximity to the rink. We basically get there, park the bus, and turn everybody loose for a couple of days. So it was a great time. And the Friday night game was Halloween. So I don't know if you saw any photos online or not, but
no.
A bunch of our animals were all dressed up in Halloween costumes and went to the game.
Oh, you know what? I did. They were out front of the hotel. They were all standing. I did see that. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. So it was great. It was a great time. Everybody seemed to get along, and I think, developed and built their relationships with each other. And a couple new guys that have come in after the season started. It'd be real good for them to get away and spend a couple nights together. So great trip. Yeah.
I saw the picture as well with Nelson Emerson with Graz. And was he the only one down there? Because there's 3 NHL sons playing on the team. You've got Emerson's boy, Rob Blake's boy, and Scott Niedermeyer's boy. Were the other 2 down there, or was it just Emmer?
Yeah, I didn't see Niedermeyer at all, but it was Parents' Weekend as well on the Saturday night for everybody. Blake was in on the Friday night, and Emerson was in on the Saturday night.
Nice.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't see anybody I didn't see the Niedermeyer father. Maybe quite possibly Mom was in town there, but
gotcha.
Yeah,
well, that's awesome. I'm glad you guys had a good time. It was tough with game 6 and 7 of the World Series on. I was talking to Graffer and Tals, and they said that they snuck out of the game after the first period and went across to the watering hole to watch the game. But that's awesome.
Yeah, a couple of the guys did that. The hockey team stayed, and the staff stayed for both full hockey games, and then it was a pack of about 40 of us from Canada in the bar there watching the hockey game because, honestly, no one down there cared about the World Series with nobody in the East Coast and the U.S. playing. So
right,
they were happy to, I think they were on side with L.A. losing, but they were all watching college football on the Saturday all night, and we had a group of us cheering on the Jays.
That's awesome. Well, big weekend, 4 points. Possible 4 points. You take home 4 points. Friday night, you had an OT win over tied for first place, Chatham Maroons. You had Bender in net, stopping 25 of 28. What did you see Friday night down at the Almond Arena, Clarkie?
I thought I saw one of the best games of the season so far for us. Just a great battle back and forth, and we were lucky enough to get them again. We got them in a shootout in Chatham, and I think I was personally frustrated at the end of the regulation because I thought we gave up a point there that night. Giving up a goal in the last minute of the third period, I thought we could have protected that a bit better, but it is what it is, and we were able to find a way in overtime, and just two really good teams battling hard, and I think again, there's lots of chatter around what is wrong with Stratford, because if you look at the schedule, you see we're in 7th place, but that's the second time we were able to get Chatham this year. So, I think we're right there. We're right in the mix. We just got to make up some games in hand in here, and I think they came at us hard, and we did the same to them. Goaltending was really good again, and we scored again throughout our lineup. So, just really, really happy with the group to get that win at home and to stick with it after giving up that goal. Even you think throughout the game here, they were up 1-0. We got a goal there in the third period to get it to 1-1. And they came down maybe right off the face-off. It wasn't long. It was within a minute. They scored right away, bang, to go up again. So, and we were able to stick with it. So, really happy for the guys there to get those 2 points.
I thought there was 3 players that stood out for me. One was Bender. Lights out again. He made 2 saves in the second period. Just unbelievable. And they were both like right at the top of the crease too. One was a cross ice pass, and I think it was Zanudo that redirected it, and Bender slid across and snared it. And even Zanudo couldn't believe that Bender got it. And then not long after that, he made a blocker save. Priddle was in all alone on him, and he did it on the other side. Did the butterfly across, calm, composed, and he's such a big guy, like we've talked about. And Priddle rang it right off his blocker, and it went into the corner. But
there was one more there in the second too, where a guy got in alone and got a quick shot off. He made an unreal glove save too.
Yeah, he is just lights out. And let's face it, like any team that goes deep in the playoffs has good goaltending. Yeah. And he is really good goaltending, hides a lot of blemishes, and he's just been everything is advertised, and it's nice to see him steadying the ship from the pipes out. And so I thought he had a great game. I thought you were texting me, and I couldn't agree more. Slattery was snake bitten. How many posts did he have? I know he had one there in the second, right in front of us there down at the far end.
That play, he was bang, bang. He hit the post twice in that shift. He rang one off the post across bar in the first period. And then I think he had a fourth one in the overtime. He was all over the ice with opportunity. And that's the encouraging part. I know he no doubt is squeezing the stick a little hard and a little frustrated that some pucks aren't going in for him. But, for me, it would be a really big concern if he wasn't getting those opportunities, right?
Exactly.
The puck is going to go in for him eventually. It's just a matter of time. And as long as he's getting the opportunities, he's doing things the right way, things are going to go well for him. And I think, our first goal, Grady Murphy's goal banged in there. Back to that. All created by Dom Marshall, right? He chipped the puck in, went in really hard in the forecheck, got a puck turned over eventually there, and then Will Coward just caught it and shot it. Nothing special, just got a puck to the net. And just by getting the puck to that, yeah, exactly. And then Murph just being in the right spot, bang. So
he's got a great nose for the net, because he could see when Coward was just throwing it on net, he was on his off wing being a right-hand shot. He was coming to the net, and I watched the replay a couple of times, just had an instinct that, hey, if I get a rebound, I'm going to get a good chance here, and he ended up burying it. The third guy that I thought had a really strong game was Jonas Schmidt, coming back from being off for a few weeks. Huge game in the third period there. He picked up the puck in your own, raced down the left wing, and then just wired a wrist shot from the left face-off dot by the glove of Verburn. But great goal to put you guys up 3-2. And then, like you said, they score. Chatham scores with 44 seconds. Everyone's going, oh God, did they give away a point there? But then in overtime, Schmidt comes down on a 2-on-1 with Coward, and he could have. There was a lane, but I thought he made the right play. He had an open shot. Why not take it? Right, the guy's one of, if not your most dangerous sniper on the team. Puts it inside post and in 100th GOHL point. Game over. Like just a great goal, and couldn't be happier for the kid coming back. Right.
Yeah, really good game, and really great to see that, he had his timing, because a lot of times, a guy comes back after that length of time off and things are just off and they're missing the net, or, they're glassing out for the other team, setting up their breakout by ripping pucks high, because everybody wants to rip the puck high. No longer is the goal scorers shooting along the ice or just over the pad. It's got to be bar down or nothing, it seems these days, unfortunately. But it was really good to see him. Great goal off the rush there, like you talked about. It kind of reminded me of that goal that Binder scored for us against St. Mary's last year.
Yeah.
Just come down the ice and was just a quick rip that beat the goalie. And then, that 2-on-1, those are plays where if he doesn't shoot the puck and he tries to make a pass, everybody in the rink is going, shoot the puck.
Exactly.
Right? And then if he shoots the puck, and if he doesn't score, everyone in the rink's like, he should have made a play. So, he can't win. And I think everybody on here who's been around the game for a long time would agree. If you get to the top of the circles or inside, you should be shooting the puck. Right?
Absolutely.
And potentially Coward's there for a rebound if the goaltender makes a save. But lucky for us, he posting in, and Warriors had a big celebration that night. So that was good.
Oh, that's good. Good to see that. So you pick up 2 points Friday night, and then you end up going over to Kamoka on Saturday night. It seems like you guys in the Lincolns are always playing Kamoka for some reason over the past few weeks. But you go to Kamoka, you get a nice win there, 5-3. Bender's in net again, stops 32 of 35, 914 save percentage. Were you down to that at all? What did you see, Clarkie?
I wasn't down to the game, but I did check it out on Flow Hockey. So I watched most of that game for sure. I thought it was okay. I thought we could have maybe been a little bit better, but that's me being critical. If your own team, you always think you can be better each and every night. And I think that's what drives success, is we're chasing that all the time. And we're hard on our group, but, we got the job done. I just thought a couple times we had some breakdowns. Power play was really good for us. Sorry, I got something in my eye. Power play was really good for us Saturday night, and we found a way again. They're a sneaky team. Like past history would tell you that they should be near the bottom of the league, but they've got some really good young talent in Kamoka this year, and they bit us a couple times on a couple mistakes and ended up in the back of our net. So it's another team that you can't sleep on, and it's just another team in the Western Conference that you can't really sleep on anybody. The team that's got the biggest hole is Sarnia. They've really struggled so far, but everybody else throughout the league here, or definitely our conference, is a very, very tough out if you're not prepared and ready to play.
Yeah, you've got Elmira in first with 28 points. Chatham's second with 26. You've got the Nationals at 24. Lincoln's at 23, Siskin's at 20 after that win yesterday over St. Mary's. Then you got the Stars coming on. They got 19 points, and then you guys only have played 13 games. You've got 17 points. So you guys still have like 4 games in hand on some teams. So
yeah, we're in a good spot.
Yeah.
But in saying that, we got to win those games too, right? So, but
fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
We're in a real good spot. I think we've only got 3 regular season losses, I believe. I could be wrong. You're looking at the thing there, but
yes, yeah,
like in 60 minutes, right?
1 and 2, yeah.
So I think we're in a good spot.
Not too bad at all.
Yeah.
You had 2 power play goals there yesterday, one by Wild Fong and the other one by Menard. Menard seems to have found his scoring touch again. And then the guy we keep throwing names up, if it's not Brady Murphy, then it's Dom Marshall. He had his 5th of the year as well. And it was nice to see HayLock got his 1st of the year. So the boys must have been giving him the business.
Especially after Friday night. Like the poor kid, he worked so hard up and down the ice. You know, he hadn't been rewarded for a goal. And then I don't know if Shanker or Halser, you saw what happened. The goaltender comes out to make a play, whiffs on the puck. It comes on a HayLock stick. He's got to shoot the puck like from your driveway out onto the road. That's all he has to do. And he missed the net by about 3 feet. Poor guy. Just kind of, I think he whiffed on the puck. You know how your stick kind of flexes on you. I think that happened to him. I don't know, but he missed the net, and you could tell he was visibly upset with himself. But he was able to chime in Saturday night and get his first goal. And you know, he's had lots of opportunity too, and buried a few in the chest of the goaltender. So hopefully, the getting one Saturday night kicks off a few more from him. And Wildfong, he's been real dangerous for us on the power play. You mentioned him there. Really good shot, good release. And Menard, he's dangerous every time he picks up the puck, I think. If you pay attention to him, he's a very elusive guy and very, very skilled. He scored some beautiful shootout goals for us and very dangerous player offensively.
Yeah. You've got 2 good games coming up this weekend. Friday at home, you got Welland Junior Canadians coming to town. And then you're back on the road again for a Saturday game down in Caledonia. So 2 big games for you guys. You've got, let's see, Welland, they're at 3-12-2. And then you've got Caledonia at 9-7. So definitely no gimmies by any stretch. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And before we go, I wanted to just mention that we had a great time giving out free tickets. Bick Heating and Cooling gave me a stack of tickets. I guess the junior team gave them to him for being a major sponsor with you guys. And so they asked me if I could get rid of these tickets. And so when I was walking into the Almond, I went up to a couple of people and I said, "Hey, do you want some tickets?" And they were a little uneasy, and they're like, "What's this guy want from us?" And I go, "No, it's free tickets. Bick Heating and Cooling. All you got to do is just let me take your picture. I just want to show them and give them a shout out." They didn't want any part of it. Well, there was 2 guys behind them. Hell yeah, I'll do that. Take our picture. So
you should have offered them 2 Miller Lights.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna do it. Look for me, folks, when I come into if you see me. I'm not there to harass you or anything. I'm just trying to give out a couple of free passes for Friday night games, courtesy of Bick Heating and Cooling and the Stratford Warriors. So don't be offended. But Clarky, thanks so much for coming on and giving us the report. And good luck to you guys this weekend.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys. And big weekend for us to try and capture some points outside of the Western Conference. So we'll see what happens.
Absolutely. All right, Jason Clark, Director of Hockey Operations and lead hand for Buzzin' with Clarko. So, all right, thanks again, Clarko.
See you guys.
See you there.
All right, we got Chris Chessel with Chester's Perch waiting in the wings. So we'll play our intro and get into his segment.
You can't put a price on a good time. Chester's Perch, the Lincoln's Report, brought to you by the Boathouse Stratford, located at 30 York Street. Come see us down at the Avon River for pedal boats, kayaks, canoes, Juliet boat tours, and bike rentals. Enjoy great food and ice cream at the Riverside Patio Restaurant. Pet friendly and operated by the Her family since 1965.
Chester's in the house. Chester, how are you?
What's up, boys? I had a great tan in that photo on there. That's just fantastic.
Right? Absolutely.
I'm missing that today. My God, it's winter.
I see you wearing that too proud after Friday night.
Absolutely. That's a beat
Big
down.
win.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah,
win.
we'll take it. We'll take it. We won't talk about the football team.
Right. Yeah. That's another story. Not even Belichick can save them.
No, that's pretty bad.
Well, Chester, you guys ended up getting 2 out of a possible 4 points on the weekend. Tell us what happened
Yeah.
Friday night at the Pyramid Center. What did you see there with a 4-2 win over the Waterloo Siskins?
Well, I didn't see any of it, unfortunately. I was in Windsor. I had to go down and do a baseball banquet with Brock, so
Okay.
I missed the game altogether. So I'm just going by Spencer's report and a little bit of info from Red as well. But
All right. What
Halser
did
was
they have
there.
to say?
Well, the vibe was pretty decent game. All in all, Oliver Lacko made his debut. Bit of excitement around the rink to see what this gentleman's all about, and he didn't disappoint. From what I understand, he was one of the strongest players on the ice.
Couple of
Chipped a
helpers, I see.
couple of helpers and lots of puck time. Puck was on his stick, making stuff happen. So it'll be interesting to see how he all fits in. But first game in, I think he made a good impression. They came out. First period, I think, went back and forth. Not a whole lot happened. I don't think there was any goals. And then the
No
second
scoring
period,
in the first.
Lynx got on the board first in the second. Lacko to Chase McDougall for a second of the season, got us up and going. And then I believe Ryan Hodgkinson put us up 2-0. And then the Siskins got a late goal in the end of the second there to get her to 2-1. And then I think they came out and got the first one in the third to tie her up.
Yeah.
And then Chase McQueen Spence on a beauty goal put the Lynx up 3-2 to stay. And another power play goal about halfway through the third sealed the victory 4-2. So from all accounts, Brogan Calhoun was steady in the net. 37 shots for the Siskies, 35 saves for Brogan. And, he's been steady most of the season so far. Waterloo's an interesting team. We saw it last year in the playoffs, and it's a whole lot of the same this year. They just play hard. They get in your face. They drive you crazy. They're so good defensively. They don't chase too much from their structure. Spencer said it. He says it's like they practice with the pylons on, and they don't leave where those pylons are, and they don't give you a whole lot of real good scoring chances. And I listened to Clarkey talk about the Warriors there a little bit. Some of that offensive problems are happening with us too. When we do shoot the puck, we're missing the net by 4 feet. We're trying to make the pretty play all the time, trying to go bar down and everything else when we should be just coming down and firing the puck on net some nights. And, it definitely showed its ugly head on Sunday down in Waterloo.
Yeah. Halser, what did you see Friday night at the Pyramid Center? Lacko had a couple of helpers. What exactly did you see? You were down there.
Well, he looks good. It's a good debut. Now, they gave him a couple of good wingers. They gave him McQueen Spence and Fortman. And so, you find out right away. But the thing I really liked about the kid is the speed in which he thinks the game. And you could tell he's playing at high level because the brain moves quicker than the body. So that was really nice to see. And the other interesting thing about Lacko was he was the one on the ice in the last minute of the third period taking all of the defensive zone draws, a job that has traditionally been Ryan Hodgkinson. And he won every single one of those draws, won them clean, won them into the corner. And that was a big reason why they salted away the 2-goal lead late in the game, was because Lacko won every single faceoff in the defensive zone.
Nice.
So Waterloo, I agree with Chess. They were everything Chess said they were. Plus, I noticed they're quicker than they were last year as a team. They skate better than they did. They were pretty quick last year, but St. Mary's played at a frenetic pace last year that they just can't match. And so I'm trying to figure out whether it's Waterloo's quicker or maybe St. Mary's a little slower, or a combination therein. But Waterloo looked pretty quick. I was on the group text with Clarkey, and he said he was impressed with them when he saw them as well. So it was a good night overall, but still the same problem. They're having trouble scoring. And if you add up the weekend, they were 1 for 10 on the power play this weekend. So they got the power play goal, obviously, in St. Mary's. And that's going to help out. If the power play could get even warm, it would take a lot of pressure off these guys to get scoring because, like Chess said, They get scoring opportunities. They generate lots of scoring opportunities. That's not a problem. But I tell you what, they must have to order extra jerseys in for goalies after they play St. Mary's, because the crest is all beat to shit when they're done with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, Kelp had the only power play goal on the weekend. It was his 5th of the year. But 4-2 win, nice win in St. Mary's on Friday night. Little different story on the big ice Sunday afternoon. The Siskins turn it around and blank St. Mary's 2-0. Calhoun played again, stopped 32 of 34. But Chess, did you get down to that game?
No, I was a flow hockey Sunday afternoon for me.
Nice.
Retster made the road trip. He's good like that. So yeah, I watched most of that on flow, and I thought, Halser, it's interesting you brought up Waterloo's speed. It really showed on Sunday on that big Olympic size ice down there. They had so many chances where they just blew by our defense, or they came down the middle a few times and just they really showed their speed. And like you said, I'm not sure if they're a whole lot faster than they were last year, if we're just a tad bit slower, but they looked really good on their home ice on Sunday for sure. And yeah, like you said, Calhoun started again. Brock Ryan is unbelievable again in net. He played really good Friday night, but he was unbelievable yesterday afternoon. There was some stretches where the Lynx were all over Waterloo, and they could not buy a goal. Again, some of our own doing, but there was some really good scoring chances where he was just unreal and not giving them any rebounds. And Waterloo did a really good job of clearing the net, front of that net, and that's something I hope to see a bit of improvement with the Lynx, is a bit more net presence. They've mixed it around a little bit with McDougall and Declan Reddy, and even Oliver a little bit, throwing them in front of the net a bit more than we've done in the past. Hopefully that starts to pay off a bit down the road. But yeah, 0-for-4 on the power play on yesterday, right? And that's, Waterloo's going to give you chances on the power play. They remind me a lot of London sometimes. They'll give you the opportunities, but if you don't make the most of it, they're a good enough team that they're going to make you pay the other way. So, they got to get that power play rolling a little bit. They pulled the goalie late, just over a minute left. They had 6 forwards on the ice. The Lynx did.
Oh,
And
wow.
they still couldn't generate a really good scoring chance. So they had one right at the buzzer, like half a second left. But Ryan made another great save. Would have only made it 2-1 anyways. But yeah, a few things to work on. So that was the first time the Lynx have been shut out since November 26, 2023. A 3-0 shutout to the Chatham Maroons. So 2 years almost to the day since their last time the Lynx were shut out. So sometimes you got to hit rock bottom in the old goal scoring before it unloads again. So, we got a bit of an opportunity this weekend to hopefully make up for it. We got Kamoka coming in Friday night. Again, Clarkie talked about it. I talked about it last week. They're no slouch anymore, but still expected good opportunity there to get 2 points.
It seems like either you or the Warriors are playing Kamoka for some reason the past month.
Well, yeah, we played them twice. We get them this weekend, and then we get them again next weekend, I believe, or 2 weeks from now. So, yeah, no shortage of Kamoka highlights coming up. But good opportunity Sunday there, and then really looking forward to Sunday afternoon down in Listowel. Obviously, Listowel's not playing at the level that they probably want to be at, but they're still a really good hockey team, well-coached hockey team, and I expect that to be a barn burner on Sunday afternoon. Let's hope we don't show up as tired and, still Sunday morning kind of mode, be ready to go on Sunday afternoon down there.
Halser, did you go down to Waterloo yesterday?
No, I didn't go down. I watched some of it, or I listened to Spencer on the radio for a little piece of it, and, all bets are off when you go to Waterloo, because it takes you the first half of the game to figure out all the angles that are different on, playing on Lake St. Lawrence River. And, one thing that they really did last year, I noticed, and that you mentioned it again, Chess, for Sunday's game, is that the big ice forces your defensemen to play further apart, and they love to attack you with speed right in that little spot. Like they're breaking out of prison in between 2 guard towers. They just come flying through that spot there, and it's really hard to defend.
Yeah,
They do
and
it very well.
Yeah, and we made some bad choices too. We were trying to make that long D-to-D pass, or even sometimes the wingers, once they get in the zone, try to make that long pass across ice to the back defenseman. On that rink there, they just got burned on it a couple times. They just, a few rookie mistakes out there probably, but yeah, it's we'll see what the next weekend brings, right? So.
Yeah, 2 big games. You guys are currently in 3rd place in the West with
25.
You're in 4th with 23 points. And then
Oh, I don't think your standings are up to date there. Come on now,
25 points.
Razor.
There we go.
25.
Sorry, that was on my PC. My Mac over here's got it updated.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Elmira and Chatham are tied in 1st with 31, and then you guys are in 3rd with 25 points. So it's tight. It's tight there in the West.
It's every weekend it changes, right? And we've talked about St. Thomas several times on this show. They're right there. They're tied with us, right?
Yeah.
So Waterloo's
Did you
creeping
guys
up, and the
see
Warriors.
Joe
Once
Thornton?
the Warriors, what's that?
Did you guys see the Joe Thornton thing there on the weekend with him doing the lineups for the Stars?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. That was pretty cool. So he's an old St. Thomas Star alumni, and Schenker. But did you guys see who the guy doing the introductions were? The bald guy on the ice? That's Stratford's own Blair Ellery.
Was it really?
Yeah.
No
he's
way.
the voice of the St. Thomas Stars. He does the play-by-play for the Stars. So he was
out my boss at one time.
Yeah.
There you go. Blairsy.
Yeah, great guy.
That's
so
awesome.
Shout out to Blair Ellery. Haven't seen him in years, but keep track of him. We're friends on Facebook, and was watching him do the announcing of Jumbo when they were out on the ice. But yeah, you're right, Schenker. That was pretty cool. How he's just like a kid, Jumbo, right?
Yeah.
Comes into the room and calling out the guys' names and just having fun with everything. So
that was a pretty good outfit he had on too.
To do stuff and.
Oh yeah. That was a great outfit he was wearing too. Like just.
Yeah.
He didn't stand out in St. Thomas at all.
Oh God, no.
That beard must take him hours to deal with. Like that's not just something that you shower and dry off and get out. Like I'm sure there's a whole bunch of man products you've got to put in that thing. But God bless him. So, but all right, Chester, we won't keep you. But thanks so much for your input on St. Mary's Lincoln's recap, Chester's Perch, and we look forward to hearing from you next week talking about the 2 games with Kamoka and Listowel. So,
hopefully I get some live watches this weekend. The schedule is not looking as crazy this weekend for me, so hopefully I can get to a couple games. All right, boys. Have a good week.
Go. All right, Chris
we'll talk to you soon.
From Chester's Perch. We'll be right back. We'll chew on that, and then we'll have Dave Graff coming on. So we'll be right back.
Chew on that with Graffer. Brought to you by Work Pub and Eatery. Get a taste of tradition and charm in our family-run pub. From hearty dishes to cold drinks, we've got everything to make your visit memorable. Located at 75 Wellington Street, Stratford.
Dave Graff is back for Chew on That. Graffer, how are you tonight?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Good. Now, who are those characters in behind you? One's a Jays manager.
I wanted to get that on the night I was talking about umpires, but it's Earl Weaver and Kenny Kaiser, the old umpire.
Okay. So it's an Orioles jersey.
Yeah. One of those. Yeah, one of their heated battles. I want to say late 70s, probably when I first started watching.
That's awesome.
Around that time, anyway. But yeah, I was not going to talk ball tonight. First of all, thanks again to Work for sponsoring the segment, and great guys down there, and always good to get in and see those guys. So
great guys, very fortunate that they think of all of our sponsors. Big shout out to all of them, but Jay and Jacob and all the guys down at Work really appreciate your hospitality and your sponsorship. So What's on your mind tonight? What you on that?
Well, I was going to talk about something to do with hockey, but after I watched football yesterday, I thought I would kind of pivot to football and save the hockey for next Monday. And I want to go back to reference a few things we talked about in our very first episode. And for you guys and for the viewers out there, I'll give you some real good information to kind of chew on with the trade deadline passing this past week and kind of what happened in the games yesterday, and obviously specifically with the Bills. Myself being a Bills fan and several Bills fans in the area, obviously social media blew up yesterday after the debacle down in South Florida.
It was a debacle.
Just terrible. And I go back to, we talked in the first episode about, I think I said, New England's not necessarily a rebuilding team. They got a great young quarterback, a great coach. The defense is solid, and they have the easiest schedule, I think.
Coordinator.
Yeah, and McDaniel's back.
McDaniel,
Yeah. And probably the easiest schedule in the league, if not one of the top 2 or 3 easiest schedules.
Right.
And not taking anything away from them. They've played good football. They've done what they've had to do. They won football games. Guys, the division's over, in my opinion. And, Halser's a Bills fan. You can chime in when I'm done. But they're 2.5 games ahead of Buffalo, and they're playing. Their schedule remaining is 338. The teams they play are playing 338 ball. The Bills finish up with teams playing 500, cumulative. Yeah. Like the division is over, in my opinion, unless New England totally shits the bed. The division is over.
Yeah, the Bills are currently 6-3, and you got the Patriots at 8-2.
Plus the head-to-head right now.
Right.
Buffalo can go into Foxborough and beat them.
I was looking at the next 3 games for both teams. The next 3 games, you got the Bills at home to the Bucs, then they go to the Texans, and then they're at the Steelers. Yep. No gimmies at all there.
That could be 1 and 2. I mean, I hope they win 1. I hope they win 2.
Yeah.
That could be 1 and 2, the way
the Patriots, their next 3 games, the Jets, they're a dumpster fire. The Bengals, who knows what you're going to get with them.
No Burrow.
Right. And although he started practicing today, I noticed a bunch of guys went on the waiver wire in my fantasy pools and were picking them up, putting them on their bench. But and then the third game is the Giants, and they just fired their head coach.
Yeah, and they're 2-8. They're 2-8. And Dart's in protocol. Dart's probably not playing. Well, he might play in a couple weeks against New England, but he's going to miss some time.
Yeah.
And after those 3, the Steelers get the Bengals, and that might be when Burrow comes back, because he's kind of in that practice window now,
right? With
the intention of coming back, right? So playoffs isn't a gimme. You'd like to think it is, but I go back to I got a couple notes here. The last couple of weeks, Baltimore goes in, takes care of the Fish last week. Jackson's back. The statistical MVP from last year, even though Allen got the MVP. He goes in, takes care of business. They take care of business in Mini this week. New England goes into Tampa, takes care of business on the other side of the state.
Yeah, that was.
And Buffalo goes in. Buffalo goes in and is disinterested. No interest whatsoever. Miami sold out on the run. They loaded the box, and you still can't throw the football downfield.
Yeah.
Like Coleman finally got open for a touchdown when it was basically didn't matter.
Yeah, Allen, it was almost in garbage time. He had 3 receptions for 46 yards.
Yes.
Their best wide receivers are their tight ends.
Yes, and Kincaid went out with the hamstring.
With a pulled hammy.
Yeah, Kincaid went out with the hamstring. So, the Bills go in there a week after the Ravens, and I just for the record, and you can call me on it later, I think the Ravens might win out looking at their schedule too, but who knows. But, the Bills go in and lose by 17 to a team led by Tua turnover, leading the fucking league, I think, and a child coach wearing jogger pants on the sidelines. It's embarrassing. I mean, you got out coached by a child coach in jogger pants that our 18-year-old kids wear, for frick's sakes. A 2-7 team. I get it. Miami's got nothing to play for. Full credit. They deserve the victory. But Buffalo is a broken record, unfortunately. And I love the Bills. Halser likes the Bills. There's tons of people that loves the Bills. They're a broken record. It's the same thing every year. They're always short. Their run defense is awful this year. I know they're missing some guys. I get it. Jones is out. Lawson's out. They've got some young guys in there that can fill spots. Carter and the one other guy. But, Yashane ran roughshod over him yesterday. And the receivers, their top 4 receivers, including Kincaid, are 41st, 43rd, 66th, and 100th in the NFL in receiving yards.
Yeah.
Well, the Bills at the trade deadline tried to get Waddle from Miami.
Yes.
I heard that.
Miami said, "Screw you! You're in our own division."
Yeah.
Because they know Buffalo
they're right.
needs
That's right. They couldn't get Williams and they couldn't get Waddle because of the.
I guess they were willing to give up a first, one first, but I think Miami wanted 2 firsts. So you look at what Indianapolis did. They overpaid for Sauce Gardner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Buffalo should have overpaid for whether it was Waddle or another. Like, Father Time is ticking with Josh Allen.
It is. It is. He's got. Listen,
who knows
you guys have seen it
next year. They should have went and overpaid for a wideout, so that'll take the heat off of Coleman and Josh, right? Like, you need a guy. Like, ever since they got rid of Diggs, they really don't have a game changer, and they were able to get through last year. I thought this was going to happen last year, and they were able to get through, and Josh was able to play well enough and run well enough to hide the loss of Diggs, but now it's coming to like the spotlight. But like, Halls, what are you seeing?
Well, the first thing is I knew the 23 points or whatever it was. I knew the big points were going to happen. They're missing like 8 injured starters, and the 9th one is Joey Bosa, who's playing with one hand. All right. Oliver gone for the year. Rapp gone for the year. Hoyt gone for the year. I mean, they've got guys playing on their team, regular starting defensive players that I've never heard of. I've been following this team since the 80s. I've never heard of these guys. They're elevating guys from the practice roster. So I don't care who it is. If it's an NFL team, they're going to score 20, 25 points. The problem is offensive. And I think offensive is a fair word to use in the case, because I don't understand what's going on. They got away from their identity. You could see what Miami was doing. Buffalo loves to run the ball left. They do it with great success. And so you could see Miami loading up on the right side of their defense to make them do something else. How is it the team that is number 1 in the league at running the football sucks at play action? You don't need to broadcast that you're passing with Josh Allen. They need to use way more play action. They weren't running in running situations. I don't understand. They've lost their identity offensively. And moreover, to the receiver point, there's Josh running around 6, 7, 8 seconds in the pocket running around. He's exhausted out there. No wonder he's fumbling the football. He's running around for 8 seconds waiting for somebody to get open.
And he's taking hits.
Open.
He's taking hits. Yeah. He's taking shots doing that.
He's playing his ass off, and it's 90 degrees out, and that's why he looked like he just run a marathon in Africa, because that's what he was doing. He was running for his life, waiting for somebody to get open. Yeah. And it's so frustrating because they abandoned the run early. Then they stopped stacking the box and just played 2 deep zone and made you throw underneath. I was watching with my dad. Why don't they throw deep anymore? Even if you don't complete the play, throw it. That man can throw the ball 70 yards. Throw the ball deep and stretch
might get a PI.
Might get a pass interference.
Might get a PI.
Who knows? Yep. Stretch the defense out. Get that underneath stuff back available to you.
But when they were throwing underneath, Knox was dropping balls. They couldn't hang on the balls or nothing.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And the turnovers killed them. The 3 turnovers, you can't do that. Like it.
No.
Tua was doing his best to help them, with his turnovers.
To a turnover. He's to a turnover. You got to take advantage.
And for Tua, he played well. Like he played some of his best football against Buffalo. Make no mistake. But at the end of the day, like I said, once HN gets loose, they don't have the guys that can play at that speed and wrap up and tackle on defense. So it was no shock to me that Miami scored 25 points. That was almost a no-brainer. I mean, the over on that game should have been the easiest bet of the year. It should have been more like 40-30 for Buffalo.
Yeah.
But offensively, they just don't look. And ironically, the guy who had this offense humming at its highest level is now out of a job. So I wonder if they're looking at that.
Yeah.
Because Brady was a good option when they lost Dable to the head coaching rank. But keep in mind, they didn't fire Dable. He got promoted. He was doing such a good job.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to wonder, knowing how Josh and Dable have a wonderful relationship, I wonder if it's time to start thinking about bringing him back on offense.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought the same thing when I heard that he got fired today. So
yeah, the play calling is very, very skeptical. And, I go back to as well, like, to me, there's panicking and there's reality. And panicking to me is a team that has all facets and they're struggling, can't find their identity, getting some bad breaks. Hall's mentioned it with injuries with Buffalo. With Buffalo, it's a reality thing. They're just not good enough. They could get 3 or 4 defensive guys back. They still got to learn how to stop the run. They still got to learn how to throw the ball downfield. They still got to learn to play action better, like Halser alluded to. There's just so much broken right now that, I hope just like the next guy, they can turn it around. I really do. But the reality is they're broken, and they got a long road to. And Bean, you can go back to the draft last year. He traded down to get Coleman. Josh Allen was in favor of it. The guy's been a bust so far. I get it; it's only year 2, but he looks disinterested out there. And he could have gone with a 5th and 6th rounder, or 4th and 5th rounder, maybe got Shaheed or Myers. Maybe those guys don't even help, but at least he's showing an effort to get another guy in the wideout room. And he said after, it's hard at the deadline. It's a hard job. No shit. Fucking life is hard, fellas. It's hard for me every day to fucking work with some of the shit. Halser, I'm sure it is. Razor, you're retired. You don't count. Shanker, I'm sure you are. Like, life is hard. Work is hard. Don't play old poor fucking me now. Figure it out. And I think it's too late to figure it out, guys. This is not even a divisional round contending team, in my opinion, right now. That's how broken it is.
Well, let alone
a conference final or a Super Bowl. It's not even a divisional
second wild
team.
card team right now.
Right.
At 6-3.
They're traveling 6 against 3 right now.
Yeah, and what's
There's a lot to
frustrating
fix.
about it is they beat the Chiefs last week, 28-21.
That's
and
the thing.
We're all riding the Josh Allen and the Bills bandwagon as they go down to lowly Miami.
Yeah.
I think the highlight of the weekend was the partying by all the Bills Mafia at the Elbow Room in Fort Lauderdale and the tailgate parties. I got a buddy.
That was awesome, eh?
Oh, unreal. So I've got a buddy, Wayne Felly. Shout out to my buddy Wayne Felly.
Nice.
And we went to a Bills Miami game down in Miami a couple of years ago. And he follows the Bills when they come down to Miami every year. And
Nice.
So he was sending us pictures and stuff of the Elbow Room and just love it, man. It's such great energy, and it's so frustrating that the Bills laid an egg like that, and they could have been at 7-2 and right there in the hunt for the AFC East. But I think you're right, Graffer. I think that ship has sailed. They just got to get in the wild card now.
And I agree with Halser. I agree with your point. They're banged up on D. I get it, but they do have some nice young options in there that can step in. I think they just got to figure out scheme wise how to stop that run and hopefully get a few bodies back. But I just think there's a lot more broken, and I hope they can fix it because I love the Bills, and I hope they can fix it. It's going to be tough. Great game against KC, yes, but it just goes out the window when you show up like that the other day, like yesterday. You gotta.
Yeah.
Long way to go.
What did you see?
I didn't see too much of it, but when I did, it was just ugly, like interceptions, like that interception in the end zone when I think it was 16-6, and the Bills, that interception was pretty much when I said, they're done. I was in and out of the house all day, but I just watched maybe the first half, and I couldn't believe it, like how you lay an egg after a huge win the week before.
Well, they were down 16-0 at the half. That was the crazy part. Like, if that would have been, luckily they weren't in Buffalo. They would have got booed off the field, right?
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, it's It's going to be interesting. There is
Optimistically, better days ahead. Better days ahead, but man.
Yeah.
Two turnovers in the red zone, too, pretty much sealed their fate. 2 turnovers in the red zone. That's what sealed their fate.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, my friend. Thanks for your take on the Bills. Would chew on that. Look forward to you next week, brother. And Dave Graff for chew on that.
Thanks, fellas. Thanks,
All
boys.
right,
Be good.
Graffer.
See you guys.
See ya.
We'll be back with final notes, and we'll have a few commercials from our partners.
Railside Organics, Stratford's first and only Indigenous-owned and operated organic dispensary, located at 29 Monteith Avenue, serving those in need with holistic remedies. Come say hi to Curly and his staff and see why everyone is recommending Railside Organics. Call Bick Heating and Cooling for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing needs. Proud Rude Pro partner. BickHeatCool.com or 226-921-4848. Your home team specialists. Taking care of Stratford and area since 2013. Vreda Veld Painting. Servicing Stratford and surrounding area. With over 20 years of experience to help you with all your painting and decorating needs. On time and on budget.
Another great show, fellas. I can't say a whole lot, but we've got some exciting news coming up. We've got Rhett Chessel, who's going to be doing his own segment starting next month, probably early next month. He's going to be doing a segment called Rhett's Review. He's going to be talking about all the teams in the Western Conference of the GOHL. Probably not much about the Lincolns and the Warriors because his dad and Clarkie are already covering that. But all the other teams in the GOHL, the Waterloos, the Chathams, the Elmiras, the London Nationals. So it's going to be interesting. And even teams in the East that are relevant, like the Cambridge Winterhawks, they're still undefeated. So, or Winterhawks, the Red Hawks. But yeah, it's going to be exciting. We've just secured a sponsor for that segment. So that's going to be exciting. We can't wait to release that. And we've got another sponsor coming on in January, late December, early January. So, folks, we've got over 40,000 views on our 3 socials on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. So thank you for tuning in. The 7 of us are just humbled that you people take a few minutes out of your busy lives to not only watch our socials, but to go on our YouTube channel as well, Unmuzzled Sports Podcast, and watch our reels and watch our episodes as they come up every week. So final thoughts, Shanker.
That was a great week, and coming up this weekend is the Stratford Aces tournament. There'll be over 100 girls teams this weekend, and my U13C girls play at 9 a.m. at the Almond Friday and 4 in Milverton if nobody has nothing to do.
Excellent. Love having the Aces in town for their tourney every year. Balzer, final thoughts.
Well, first thing I want to say is I already miss baseball, so I'm hoping that the hot stove will create some excitement for us, not just my own team, but other teams as well. It's a bumper crop of free agents this year, so it's something I'm going to be staying right on top of, especially starting pitching. There's an incredible depth of starting pitching as well. So I'll be keeping an eye on it, and any news that we pick up, we'll share with the folks every week.
Did you guys hear the whispers about Bo Bichette considering the Yankees? I don't know if you guys heard that at all. I was listening to that today. So there was that rumor.
He'd slide in real well at second base there. With they like Volpe at short.
Yeah.
And then he'd slide in real well at second base.
And then there was also rumors about Tucker. Of course, the Yankees are always in the mix, but there was 3 teams that they were talking about Tucker going to. The Dodgers, shocking. the Yankees, and then the Blue Jays. I heard their name brought up as well. So in case they lose Bo, they're talking about Tucker. So it's going to be interesting. It's an exciting time. It's nice. It reminds me back in 92, 93 when the Jays were at their pinnacle, winning back-to-backs. The interest in baseball in Stratford was really coming back again. And hopefully the run this year does the same thing with registration numbers. So here's hoping, guys. But for Brian Hawley and Ian Schenk, I'm Gary Ray. Thank you for listening to the Unmuzzled Sports Podcast. See you next week.
See you, everyone.